in a broke-down car on the side of the road in view of a Texaco star. I spent all my money on water and food. I got Willie on the radio singing those country blues. Well, I had a good job back in New Orleans. Once I was a citizen, now I'm a refugee. Can't go back, nah, I can't move ahead. Tried to make a call, but I can't, 'cause my goddamn cell phone's dead. And I'm just 5 minutes from America, I see it very clear. I'm just 5 minutes from America, but you can't get there from here. Try to keep up with them Joneses, wherever they are. Had some real nice neighbors, had me a big backyard. Now I'm watching the world pass me by like I'm an immigrant on the move. Saw the roof of my house on a TV sitting in my motel room. And just 5 minutes from America, I see it very clear. Just 5 minutes from America, but you can't get there from here. Back down the road, a policeman smiled, then he offered his hand. He said, "Welcome, stranger, but you really can't stay here, man. On up ahead, there's some opportunities, you can find them everywhere. Maybe go to Houston, there's a lot of you there." Oh, and I'm just 5 minutes from America, I see it very clear. Just 5 minutes from America, but you can't get there from here. Willie sang Blue Eyes, crying in the rain. Daddy looking back Texas, boy, they ain't feeling no pain. But in the back of my head, well, the waves still pound. And when the levee broke, the music stopped, and the world was watching as hell came down. And I'm just 5 minutes from America, I see it very clear. I'm just 5 minutes from America, but you can't get there from here. And I wish I was back home. Wish I was back home. I wish I was back home. I wish I was back home. I'm just 5 minutes from America.
Wow. Thank you, number one, thank you for letting me in. Yeah. I feel like we had this hidden 20-year relationship of going to the movies. So John, so we're gonna just take away Check.
put together a band. It was called Roving Boy. I just couldn't give Roving Boy the time that it needed with the movies and everything going on, and so I kind of backed away from everything. But it laid down, and we didn't touch the project for over 10 years, and a lot happened in my life, and the music started to come back, you know, mostly through Christine, who had heard that first record, and I would once in a while come home and she'd be playing it, and it was kind of her subtle way of saying, I like some of this. I think her word was the songs made her happy, and she said, why don't you do this? But I knew why I had stopped, but she in a really subtle way kept after me about you know, why I didn't do this. I was thinking, how am I going to revisit this again? I mean, I've already called John in this once, kind of turned his life upside down. I called you, and it was like one of those weird conversations. John, hey, Kev, how are you? And I'm good. Yeah, what are you doing in it? And finally I got to it, where I said, look, I'm thinking about music again, and I wonder if you'd be willing to come out here.
So I went out there and hung around for a few days with Kevin, and we started kind of just fooling around with a few songs at his house. We worked on some songs from the old ones we had done many years ago.
I was even nervous about singing that day. The kids were walking out of the kitchen, they would walk through and they'd see, Dad, what are you doing? I said, John and I are dinking around, and I don't really know what I'm doing. And that kind of felt good to in a way, not know what I was doing, but I had this like weird feeling that I wanted to do this.
So we decided to get together a few more times. I made a few more trips out to Los Angeles. We kept singing, and we got Blair, the bass player that was involved in our first band.
When John and I decided to do this again, you know, there was no question at that moment that it would be Blair.
And our bass player, Blair Ford. Blair was in the first and only band I was ever in.
And Kevin called up and said, you want to get the band back together?
And finally, after that second or third time, I said, look, I'm going down to Shreveport to make this movie. And I said, why don't you come down and why don't you bring some guys? I said, you make up your mind who you've enjoyed playing with in a while, but, you know, don't tell them too much. Just have them come down.
On drums is Larry Coffey's from Tucson, Arizona.
When it came to the drummer, he said, I know exactly, you know, who, you know, I think we should be playing with.
I had been playing with Larry Cobb in Tucson for a long time, and we had a band out there.
And so he introduced us, and we just had a ball and really enjoyed playing with John and Blair. And
I don't know anybody happier than Larry when he's just hitting on his drums, and you know, he's a beautiful singer, and he does a lot of background vocals that really make a difference in our song.
Teddy and I began to work together, and with that band, he produced one of my CDs, and so we headed out to Shreveport and got together and put a really cool thing together.
We wouldn't be the same band if we didn't have Teddy. It just would not be the same band. He's such a key component. You know, Teddy walks in the door, and we kind of met each other, and what was really clear was everybody liked to play. And I remember we set up. We had some people from the crew come over, and we kind of played in front of them, blah, blah, blah. And we sang 4 or 5 songs, and I wasn't very good. I'm sure people just were like looking with their eyes like,
Oh, and the crew came over to...
Yeah, there's about 10 people that just were like...
Oh, I remember Frank.
Again, just like the kids. What the is this? There was a theme running in this project with everybody, which is, what the is this? And they let us play, right? So we played like hell, and it was a lot of fun. And then Sunday was rolling around, and it was kind of the last day we were going to practice, and it happened to be Super Bowl weekend. And... we had this like decision that we could either practice on Sunday and then go watch the game, or there was even this notion that we could play at this bar.
And out of the blue, a possible gig came up, just kind of a private party at a club, really for crew for the Super Bowl.
And I think it was actually a interesting step for the band because we all sat around, we didn't know each other that well, and I think Teddy said, well, we're here, why don't we just play instead of practice? You know, it's worth 3 practices if we play in front of people.
And I've always believed that a real show is worth probably 10 rehearsals, so I'm like, let's play.
Yeah, it's worth 10. Yeah, maybe one playing in front of people is worth 10 practices, I guess. And Teddy said that. I remember thinking, gong, in my own head, like, this guy, he likes to play. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just never forget, like, one thing I learned from Kevin, one of many things, is I could see he was nervous, because there's nothing harder than playing for friends and people you work with. You know, playing for 7,000 strangers, that's a lot easier than 50 people you know.
And so we decided to go over there and play an hour before the Super Bowl started.
This is going to be his first performance in probably 18 years on stage, just learning these songs.
I even had a little stand of music because we were writing these songs and putting these songs together, half originals and half covers, and we probably had 8 songs.
And I could tell he was going to do it.
Like I planned to do. Oh, but I had every intention.
It was like, because that fear was there, he had to do it, you know, and because if he didn't do it, you know, it would make that fear even harder to get over, and also he would walk away feeling like he failed, and so he just did it.
Wait a second, stop. I want to get this right. I got it wrong. You know, it's our party, it's our building, right? We can do this song twice if we want. I just want to make sure you're paying attention. Here we go. 1.
And I swear to God, when the band started, I feel like it was like a kite in the air. In the power of the band playing, it was like I just barely got a hold of the tail. It's like I got the last knot. The band was going so fast, and I was looking at this music and looking at everybody.
He was nervous, but he did it, and he did an awesome job, and it was great for the band.
I looked out in the crowd, and I thought, this is just right.
In the dirt of all the people in this world.
And I have a long way to go, but I was thinking, this is just right. And it was we finished that song right at kickoff. We put our instruments down and we watched that Super Bowl. But I kept thinking all the time during this, this has a good feel to me. What could possibly be? And out of that, I remember that next day I said, look, I want a fiddle player. Out of that, I remember that next day I said, look, I want a fiddle player.
Kevin kept saying, we need a fiddle player in the band, and I kept thinking, a fiddle player? That's ridiculous. I never said that, but they can redefine a band completely, you know, because if you choose a keyboard, the band could be like more rock oriented or more Americana or whatever, but if you get a fiddle player, it's usually you become a band with a fiddle player. Kevin has a house in Aspen, and we were going to go up there and do some rehearsing and play this great little club called the Belly Up.
We just decided that we would play in Aspen, you know, since it's my hometown a little bit.
The fiddle player that we had been using at the time had a tour in Europe scheduled and wasn't able to do this show with us. Bobby happened to be in Aspen, and we had heard Bobby and his great band at Kevin's wedding.
I had a 3-day wedding, and it was just 3 days of partying. And on the second night, we had this great band play, and Bobby was kind of headlining the whole deal. And you could just see what a talented force he was.
And Kevin and Bobby had struck up a relationship, and both Blair and I were at the wedding and really liked, you know, your playing and everything.
We contacted, I think it was Michael Goldberg, who owns the Belly Up, and suddenly we, you know, got a little charity thing going where money could go to the right place, and lo and behold, the Belly Up filled up.
And we played with him, and he just like, holy
Well, it answered that question. Oh, I see what a fiddle can do.
Bob has his own band, and so he plays with us when he can, and we've known this, and so what we've done is cultivated some really great fiddle players.
So when he's playing with his band and can't make our shows, we use another wonderful fiddle violin player. His name is Luke Thula from Nashville. Obviously brings a different style than Bobby, but is such a road dog. I mean, and when you hear Luke's story about how he was raised, you know, with music and on the road. He came from one of these families that where he was playing with the family when he was like 5 and 6 years old.
I've been playing with the Modern West guys for, I guess it's been since last October. A good friend of mine, Casey Dreesen, went out with these guys and played. I guess he did a show with you guys over on the East Coast somewhere. I think it was maybe South Carolina. Yeah. And he and I have grown up playing music, playing fiddles together. Actually, we started. We met each other when we were teenagers and played music together a lot. And so Casey was real excited to get to play some music because, of course, you know, we all have been watching Kevin in movies for a lot of years, and so it was a unique experience and a unique opportunity. And so Luke's a fun guy to have around, and actually contributed quite a bit on the record, as did Bob.
And then when we made a change on fiddle, I mean, we knew our first call was going to be Bobby, and but we wanted a really strong harmony singer, and I knew Park, obviously a great harmony singer, and I knew he played guitar, and I knew he played guitar well.
What a fun way to start. I mean, I flew out and met you guys in Santa Barbara, and we hung out at Kevin's place.
The first time I met him, you know, he wanders into my house. I think he's barefoot, and he's kind of wandering from room to room, and he's got hair like Jesus.
When you first start playing music, you know, and you're in a band with a bunch of guys who are really excited about, you know, the sound that's being born, you know, and it felt like that, and everybody was excited and laid back, and it was really fun.
You know, he's a very quiet guy, but ultimately, you know, Park has brought so much to the band. He is a great vocalist and a great songwriter. But where this band's concerned, it's everybody has a place and it fits. Nobody is jockeying for any position. And as the guys have evolved into this band, you know, I've found that my own life has improved, you know, just from a social standpoint, from a friendship. You know, I feel like I've got guys that have a lot of compassion, a lot of wisdom, and are essentially, without painting them like saints, good men. They're just good men. Whenever you do one of these things, people, you know, do want to know, you know, what is the process, you know. John Coyman is such a strength of our band. He was the one that gave me the confidence, because I felt that he's just a superior songwriter. Long Hot Night, you know, really started off as a little kind of ballad. You know, it was something we dinked around with on the couch. It was kind of sweet.
For those people who are familiar with it, they know it now as a rock and roll song. For those people who have heard it, but it started out as a there's a freight train rolling through the dead of night, headed straight for Yuma. And it was a ballad, and so we recorded it on CD, and then kind of Teddy saw a lot more potential other than just kind of a ballad to it, and wrote a wonderful bridge, and then.
No, I couldn't sing it like a ballad.
Oh, you couldn't sing it like.
So okay. I thought, well, maybe this would be a good rock song.
Okay, great. So that's basically what happened. And,
yeah.
And so it became Teddy really rocked it up, and one of the great things about when we collaborate as songwriters is that I have kind of a folky approach. That's my history and my tradition, and Teddy came from the blues.
It was just kind of the right moment, and actually the band realized a lot of its full potential actually in making that song.
Yeah, when we started rehearsing and playing it with Kevin, it was got even faster.
Bobby I think, threw a little lightning bolt into this song during one solo, and it just kind of really amped the whole thing up, musically. I think songs like Superman really reflect what it was like when we were 10, 11 years old. And those images are very, very vivid, and John is really a master of, I think, identifying experiences that we both had. My upbringing is very similar to John's in that there was a simplicity to how we were raised and the creativity we needed. And it's very American in the sense that it was about swimming holes, it's about Little League, it's about barbecues, it's about falling in love with a girl that's way over your head. It's having your heart broken in 1,000 pieces. It's about go-karts. The band is, while it doesn't rely on one person, I think that, if I don't say John Coyman's name enough, it would be wrong. I guess he's our godfather, I don't know. But there's something about when Teddy and Park actually get together too, that there's a lot of magic.
So yeah, 90 miles an hour, that was, I remember that because Park, at the time, Park and I lived a couple blocks from each other, and he had some ideas, and I had some ideas. And Park came over, and I remember sitting in the kitchen, those chairs, got our acoustic guitars, and right away I'm like, I like that. I can work with that. That's something. So we went straight out into the into my garage studio, where a lot of the record ended up being recorded there, and we put up a drum loop, and it just happened.
90 miles an hour. That's a song that's kind of evolved the way the band is actually evolving, because we live different places. We're not able to go over to each other's house. Although Teddy and Park, in this instance of 90 miles, I think, started flirting with this idea and brought it to me while we were on Swing Boat out in Albuquerque.
And I remember we were on Swing Boat sitting in the trailer, and he went into, he should be taking a nap. He's been shooting all day.
That's right.
All of a sudden he opens the door. Teddy, Park, come in here. I want to talk about something. And then he just says, play me 90 miles an hour. I'm thinking, well, let me go get my iPod, because I hardly remember it. It's been a while. He's like, no, just play it. But just remember that, just watching him, like, it's like a light went off, and he was like, this song, I know the direction to finish this song. And then, he really directed it from there.
One of the lines that really stood out the most for me, two lines, which was, I thought the world was flat for way too long. And I think that's a function of my conservative upbringing. I'll drive right off the map. A line that appears later in the song is, it's just an idea of there's just no more fear.
The great thing about this band is Kevin's always had such a clear vision of what he's wanted it to be, and he was able to kind of come in and go, I really like this. I really like where this is going, and sort of shape the final story, and really make it a personal song for him. So yeah, it was cool. So hopefully the first of many to come.
So this song kind of starts with a song that Teddy and Park we introduced when we were down in Albuquerque, and I've been futzing around with it a little bit, and we've never even got together, the three of us, so we're going to do that right now. We're in Rome, and whether the song ever becomes anything or whatever, this is where it starts right now. Called 90 Miles an Hour. One, two, three, go. I'll tell you, I felt an inclination
leading into 90 miles an hour to do a vocal thing right there. But I mean, I just, you know, remember when I told you sometime I thought I heard a bridge there?
Yeah.
I don't think we need a bridge, but maybe vocally I can do something that bridges it.
Or even like we could do some sort of cool background thing.
Just
where
like,
like,
yeah, it should
like
be
a
something
backwards
because what
thing,
happens.
we're missing a low.
Yeah, it needs something there because too much emphasis comes on the 90 miles an hour, you know, and then 90 miles, but otherwise it just jumps out. Let's see if we can't find something right there. I'm breathing desert air. I got the windows down. I'm going anywhere. Now I'm finally out. I'm 90 miles an hour down that highway, baby. I can't turn around. Ain't nothing left behind me but the ghost I'm leaving in the cold, cold ground. Well, something's kept me back since I was young. I thought the world was flat for way too long. I always dreamed about a brand new start, a new day, a new place. Now I'm finally out. I'm 90 miles an hour down that highway, baby. I can't turn around. Ain't nothing left behind me but the ghost I'm leaving in the cold, cold ground. I'm 90 miles an hour down that highway, baby. I can't slow down. Ain't nothing left behind me but the ghost I'm leaving in the ground. In the ground. Oh, in the ground. Well, I don't care where this long road ends. I'll drive right off the map just to start again. I'm 90 miles an hour down that highway, baby. Down, turn around. Ain't nothing left behind me but the ghost I'm leaving in the cold, cold ground. 90 miles an hour down that highway, baby. Can't slow down. Nothing left behind me but the ghost I'm leaving in this town. In the town. Oh, we're in this town. Oh, my God, now. Woo!
He's got his food.
McDonald's in Easton.
This group has just been very generous about letting people in on songs, and it's pretty clear that I'm probably the weakest link when it comes to the songwriting. At least I would say that, and I think I'm a shrewd judge of talent. So I would have to say, no, Kev, you're not the best songwriter. There are things that you contribute, but you know, those guys are I think are really gifted, and I think they understand the things I have to sing about and want to sing about.
You?
There's a camera need a shot. Are you thirsty?
It's only the beginning.
Cheers. At the beginning. Cheers.
The shots are about friendship, camaraderie. It's a tradition, you know. We've kind of like established this family.
It's the huddle. Yeah. It's the pregame psycho. It's what it's about. You know?
It's a ceremonial
It's an ancient,
drunken stupor.
It's our confidant. It's our friend.
I'm just really proud to be with all of you. Really, I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah, this time.
Proud. I really am. I mean, come on, Bart.
well, I said before, this is the most fun I've had playing music my whole life, and I'm so glad to be with you guys and be part of this amazing experience and journey. And it feels like sometimes you feel a night sort of bubbling to the surface in a really good way, and this feels like one of those. So.
Yeah. Does it feel like a Saturday night?
I'm not lying. Half the time I drink water.
You guys have had enough breakups and forms and breakups and forms. I feel lucky that you guys have gotten all that behind you and finally got your together.
This one's mine. This one, well, it's not mine, but I'm going to take it anyway. And then Kevin and everybody else.
What is it supposed to do? How is it supposed to help?
Another toast. Here's to having fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wasn't aware I was there. I called you. Like, maybe I better call Tim.
Yeah, and here's the checks that don't bounce.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
So tequila, Daddy? Daddy!
I'm making up for all that water I talked about right
in
there.
the spirit world.
Okay. Hey!
Here's to the end of a great beginning.
Thanks, Bobby, for this leg.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. It's good to
Yeah.
have you here.
Bob.
Always, man.
Of course.
Here's to another show with a great group of guys. Have fun.
Here's
You
to
know what? I probably ought to say something too. This is a nice homecoming for me. Sometimes my life has been an incredible journey, but sometimes it makes circles, and tonight it's made one, circled back on itself. 20 years later, I'm really happy to come back here to open arms, which means we left with a good feeling, and we come back with a big present for them. So I think we should just play really loud and really long, and just let the light shine, man.
Smoke screens, daydreams, all over you. untold truth. Soft white satin laying in the dirt of all the people in this world. Why was it you I heard? I had every intention of bringing it to the light. I had a good reason to wait till the time was right. Well, I never cleared the air like I planned to do. Oh, but I had every intention, every intention, every intention to. Long shot, teardrop on your cheek. Heartache, mistake, I did speak. Sweet love stories, I guess I blurred the words. Well, I told you all about me, but one thing you never heard. I had every intention of bringing it to the light. I had a good reason to wait till the time was right. Well, I never cleared the air like I planned to do. Ah, but I had every intention, every intention. I had every intention to. I had every intention of making it up to you. I had a good reason for straying so far from the truth. Well, I never cleared the air like I planned to do. Ah, but I had every intention, every intention. I had every intention to.
And I think I might have said, if this works, you're going to be surprised where I think we can take it.
I feel like Superman, flying over muddy waters, counting heaven from 1 to 2. Is that what y'all, Muddy Waters? Muddy Rivers.
Muddy Rivers. I saw what it was. It was exactly what you guys thought. It should be every measure, every other measure I do it. But the last one I clipped together. I feel like Superman. I feel like Superman. I linked those two. Okay. And then you guys can take it out however you want. Okay.
Hey, Casey. What? How did it sound when Kev was on this mic?
I mean, they already have deaders on the side, so I mean, it helps out.
Yeah.
This is not too messy. Yeah.
Hey, Kid, you want to play something?
Yeah, for a sec. Why don't you?
tell you what happens. This song is exactly what happens when you go up to your room and you don't have your room key. This is what happens. You get out and you just wait for the
little party in the hallway.
Wait for management to show up with a key. Might be time to really go after that thing you're doing. And we go quiet there. Anybody who wants to come over, put money in the case.